thank my brothers and sisters enough. I think you all know that I'm a union man, member of the Teamsters Union, member of the Teachers Union, man, I'm an old roofer, union man through and through, and for darn good reason, and I'll talk a little bit about it. Before I do, I want to introduce my wife, Mary. I think most of you know, but a lot of you don't. Mary spent much of her career organizing blood drives for the Red Cross, recruiting donors for the National Marrow Donor Program, community educator for Planned Parenthood, and she owns her own real estate business. And she's my best friend and my best advisor, and honey, thank you. Greg was talking about the hours we put in. We put in, 12, 15 hours a day on a pretty regular basis, and but we've got a date tonight after this event. Mary and I do, so we're really looking forward to it. Well, the reason why I became a union man, and all of my brothers and sisters and friends who did become union members, all became successful. And I think some of you have heard me say this before. In my generation, if you weren't successful, if you wanted to be unsuccessful, you had to have a plan. Because of the union movement, in this country, you could get good paying jobs. You could get jobs with retirement benefits. You could get jobs with health care benefits. The union movement played such a lead role in all the incredible progress of the last century. The health and safety in the workplace. I like to say the boat works in Little Falls, where so many of the kids, the young people working there, their lives were over before they were 25 or 30, because their lungs were full of fiberglass, just for want of a little ventilation and a mask. And guess what? Now they're still making boats there, and they're retiring at ripe old ages, like everybody else. Why? Well, because of the occupational health and safety legislation led by the union movement. Social Security and Medicare. Probably nothing lifted more people out of poverty in this country, maybe in world history, than Social Security. And nothing did more to expand people's lives than Medicare did. A wide range of consumer protections that labor fought for and advanced. Workers' representation in the workplace. Somebody could stand up and represent them and defend them when workers are being exploited in the workplace. And the simple truth is that if you want to follow the union movement, you will see the great progress of the American people in the last century. As a matter of fact, if you look at it, in the last century, in our grandfather's time, the life expectancy in this country has practically doubled. From 47 years of age to almost 80 years of age. In a little over one generation. Homo sapiens has been on this planet a long time. But it was the union movement that played the lead role in expanding people's lives. And building the greatest middle class anywhere in the world. It became a model for the world, an opportunity society that the rest of the world embraced and was inspired by. It became a model for the world. It became who they wanted to become like. And so, having been this great inspiration, what have you learned about it? Well, I must tell you, like a lot of you, I'm sure, I thought once you had achieved a level of progress, that you could count on that. People have a hard time with change and sometimes progress, but they sometimes need a little time to adjust to it. I had no idea the extent to which the powerful forces that fought all of our advancements, I had no idea how determined they are to roll it all back. and they're having some success. They are having some success. The fact is, the rich are getting richer in degrees unparalleled anywhere in human history. And the poor are getting poorer. And the middle class is getting crushed in this process because of the powerful interests that fought it all to begin with, and they never gave up, and they're determined to roll it all back. They want to roll back the trade laws that built American manufacturing base. My God, with NAFTA and now what they're proposing with this transatlantic Pacific Agreement, NAFTA alone cost us 70,000 manufacturing operations, millions of good paying jobs. We've got to stop this free trade, and we've got to have fair trade in this country. And we have a tax structure that is facilitating the rich getting richer. Some of the richest, most powerful corporations and people in the country are paying little or no taxes at all. Well, the middle class is getting crushed with taxes. We need some tax cuts for the middle class, and we need to start increasing the tax on the oligarchy, wealthy billionaires in this country. All of the many rules and regulations and policies that double life expectancy. My God, they want to do away with the regulations that gave us air we can breathe and water that we can drink. They want to do away with the rules and the regulation that give us healthy, safe working conditions in the workplace. They want to do away with the rules and the policies that protect us from large corporate, economic, and other exploitation. They want to roll back a century of progress. That's what they are determined to do.
No way.
Most recently, we saw where they are trying to, well, they passed a bill in the Congress. I voted against it, and I'm leading the charge to get it reversed. God willing, we're going to be successful. But the Republicans passed a bill allowing these multi-employer pension plans, which most all of us are a part of, okay, to deny pensioners their pensions. And here's the deal. Here's what happened. The men and women who worked in the Teamsters, my union, the multi-state pension plan there, they put in every nickel, every dime over a lifetime that was essential for their pension to be secure. And under the contracts that they agreed to, the corporations and the businesses, where they're part of that multi-employer plan, were also supposed to put their money in, okay? So, our wages were taken out immediately and put into the fund. Never saw them. But we can trust business to put in their fair share, right? Well, we saw what happened. 13,000 of those companies in that one pension plan did not put their money into the fund. Why? Because they didn't have to. They went through all kinds of shenanigans which were facilitated by the law, I am sorry to say. So whether it was a merger, an acquisition, or a bankruptcy, by the time Wall Street and everybody got their hands in, got their money out, the money that the companies were supposed to pay wasn't there. And so now, what did the Republicans do to change and to fix this? Oh, let's punish the people that honored their contracts, that honored their agreements, that put their money into the fund. We cannot let them get away with this, because if they get away with this, nobody's pension in this country is safe. Well, you know, I could go on. We had 50, I don't know, maybe 60 attempts to repeal the Affordable Care Act, which has done so many good things for so many people, including our daughter, who's fighting for her life with very advanced stage 4 lung cancer. And I voted against the repeal of this every time. But I want you to know, I am not going to be happy, and we shouldn't be happy, until we have a universal, single-payer, national health care. And my opponent, Stuart Mills, when it comes to Social Security, you know, in our debate last year said, you know, all options are on the table. Well, we know what the Republican option is. The Republican option is to turn Social Security into turn it over to Wall Street, make a private plan out of it. So is anybody comfortable with that?
No.
I hope not. I hope not. Social Security has never failed to yield a profit. Social Security has never failed to make a payment. And like I said, it has done more to uplift more people out of poverty. And we're not turning it over to Wall Street.
Right, right, right.
He said the same thing about Medicare. All the options are on the table. We're going to turn that over to the insurance industry so their executives can make more millions and more billions. And the administrative nightmare that goes with that. No, 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 no. We're not turning Social Security over to Wall Street. We're not turning Medicare back over to the insurance companies. And by God, we're not going to let them take our wages and our pensions away from us anymore either. It's time to work. And there's been a terrible assault on the unions and the workers' rights to organize. And there's rights to work for less, and you can't imagine. I mean, every week they have something coming up in Washington to deny workers their rights, and in the process, you know, roll back the progress of a century. And we got to turn it around. And in my judgment, probably one of the single most important things that we can do, if not the single most important thing we can do, is to take the dark money and the millions and billions of dollars out of the campaign process. And that's why I have been leading the effort in Washington to reverse Citizens United. Citizens United, you know, that's a Supreme Court decision that unleashed all this dark money from all of these corporations into campaigns and into elections. And its effects have been devastating. It's perverting a good public policy. It's being used to destroy the union movement. It's been used in so many ways that denigrates the process, discourages good people from running for public office, and make no mistake about it, it is perverting good public policy and is helping these powerful interests to roll back the progress of a century. Well, we're facing a tough election contest. The last two have been among the two most expensive in the country. They are now projecting that this one will be the most effective one, most expensive one in the country. Not because Minnesota's 8th district doesn't have a good congressman. On the contrary, we have a hell of a good congressman. That's right, someone who went to Washington and knew how to get things done for the working men and women in this country, for the trade unions, how to change this process, how to get this country back on track, how to restore the equality and the balance that made this a great nation. And if this Mr. Stuart Mills, you know, thinks he can get a haircut and open up his fat checkbook with a couple $100 million in it and buy himself a seat in the Congress, we're not going to let him do it, are we? No!